Hello and welcome to my story of how I finally left my 9 to 5 and replaced my income in the very first month. If we haven't met, my name is Christine McAllister. I'm the founder of Life with Passion, and I am the author of the bestseller, The Income Replacement Formula: 7 Simple Steps to Doing What You Love and Making 6 Figures from Anywhere. And I'm really excited to share this topic with you because it is so important. If you're watching this, I know that you want to replace your income. I know that if you're in a job, you want out, right? And if you are already out, you want to make sure you never have to go back, right? You want to give yourself that, get yourself the mental insurance policy that you are out for good. So I see you all, a bunch of you jumping on live. Hi, Megan. Hi, Lamorla. Great to see you. So I want to know, what's your situation? Are you still in a 9 to 5 and watching from work? If so, go you. I love it. Are you working? Are you already out, but are you still working on replacing your 9 to 5 income? Let me know so that I can customize this story a little bit for you. So as we dive in, I want to share with you what this process was like for me. And I want you to feel free to ask questions, because that's when we learn, right? Is when we can get individualized answers to our questions. Oh my goodness. My daughter is down for a nap, but she's playing in her crib and I can hear her. So I'm going to turn it down because it's really distracting. Right now she's saying, Dada, are you? Dada, are you? Hey PJ, watching from work. I love it. I love it. Totally have been there myself. So I have been out of the 9 to 5 world since 2010, but I spent 5 years in the 9 to 5 world. And every single day of those 5 years, I was looking for a way out. I bet you can relate. I knew from a very early age that I wanted to run my own business. And I had planned to start, I had this dream of starting a business with some of my friends back in school. But the thing is, nobody taught me how. I couldn't see the path. And so I got a job, because that's what you do, right? Because we're trained to be good employees, not entrepreneurs. So I got a job. But from the very start, I was looking for a way out. I knew I wanted to run my own business. I even bought my first house with a bedroom at the front of the house, because I was like, well, this is going to be the office and my clients can come right in the door and meet with me. Like, I bought my house based on running my own business full time, having clients come to the house. Even though I didn't know how it was going to happen. So there were a lot of things in my life where I was like, this is absolutely happening for me, is happening at some point. I just don't know how. Does anyone else feel that way? Like, it was a dream, but I was very, very frustrated because I could not figure out how to bring the dream about. And for years, literally 5 years, I stayed that way. So what happened that began to shift things for me from like this wish that I had every single day to actually turning it into something that was a reality, and has been my reality now for 8 years. The first thing is that I started talking about it to everyone. I started talking about it to everyone. Well, this is like, everyone asks you, what is it that you do, right? What do you do? Hi, I'm Christine. What do you do? Like, that's like the thing, at least in American culture, that a lot of people ask as a way of getting to know you. And so I would start to say, well, I do this thing, but I'm also running my business on the side and plan to become, go full time with that. And that's another important distinction, is that I started on the side. I started on the side even before I knew how the heck I was going to replace my income, even before I was, ready to quit or felt ready to quit, had that plan. I started a business on the side as fast as I could. And so that's a huge takeaway for you, that if you're not already working, if you don't already have a side hustle, I encourage you to get started on one. So I'd love to hear if you all have side hustles. I'm going to check the comments here. Diana says she's working from home, but she wants to leave her 9 to 5. PJ says she's out unexpectedly, working independently now with great flexibility, but need more income. Totally. So you have the freedom that you want. You're working on replacing that income. I love that. Thanks for sharing. And that you're unemployable. I love that. I love that. Nikki says, I learned only after years of struggling where I fit in the corporate industry. So meaning like you finally figured out that you don't fit because the true fit for you is being your own boss, right? I think that's what you're saying. So I started my side hustle and I started talking about it to everyone, to the point where I was at church one night and I think that afterward, I was chatting with somebody and they introduced me to this guy, Evan. And Evan was like, hey, what do you do, right? Evan had his own business. It was like a DJ business or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome because what do you do? Well, I do this thing, but I'm planning to go, I do this thing, but I've got a side business and I'm planning to go full time with it. And he was like, oh my gosh, do you know Brian? And I was like, no, I don't know Brian, whatever. He's like, you have to meet Brian and the guys at this place called Awesome Inc. I lived in Lexington at the time. Awesome Inc. was a new startup incubator co-working space started by guys my age. At this point, I was in my mid-20s. Started by a bunch of entrepreneurs, a bunch of unemployable guys who had like never had a job and who were helping other people to start their own businesses. It's like, you've got to meet him. I'll connect you via email. I'll let you take it from there. I was like, whoa, okay. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea if these people were crazy or not. Like, I just knew I had something tangible to grasp onto. And at that point, when he sent me that email, the responsibility was mine to do something with that. Okay. So I started talking about it and thinking about it. And I was focused on building my side business, even though I had no idea how I was going to get out. And then somebody gave me an opportunity to take the next step, right? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. So Evan connected me to Brian, and I had no idea what I was getting into. I was single at this point, right? Like, I didn't know who this guy was. I don't even think I knew how old he was at this point. And he's like, hey, let's meet. Let's meet. I was like, oh, it was a 9 to 5, right? It had to be like a lunch. And I was like, I don't know if this is a date, like whatever, right? But I was like, I'm going. So I followed through and I showed up and had a meeting with Brian. And out of that came my first opportunity to be mentored and coached. Brian was my very first mentor, a dude my age, in his mid-20s, who had never had a job and who was doing huge things, opening a big office co-working space in the middle of downtown on Main Street with a couple of his buddies. And I began to meet with him once a month and be held accountable. And I learned things, words I didn't know at all, like pipeline, who's in your pipeline. And I learned this very sort of masculine approach, if you're familiar with like the masculine energy versus the feminine energy. And if you are or you aren't, it doesn't matter. Just saying, like, as an example, everything was just about to-dos, and it was about spreadsheets and pipelines and things like that. But I was being held accountable, and I was being surrounded by people who were doing it every single day. And so when I would meet with him over lunch and then I would go back to my office for the rest of the day, I had spent an hour in possibility of people my age who were doing it. And that was the start of what eventually became my exit for good from the 9 to 5 world. So Lamarla says she's got a side coaching business. Beautiful. Nikki's in the side hustle too. Marilyn's retired. She wants to supplement her income. I love that. I have several clients in their second chapter. Love that, Marilyn. Side hustles, PJ, and Diana says, I have 2 side businesses besides the 9 to 5. All right, I like it. We got some dreamers and doers watching today, so beautiful. And if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to answer the questions too so that I can see what you are up to. So I talked about it, and then when the student was ready, the teacher appeared, and I had to take action on that, okay? Now, the next thing is that I continued to show up for that, even when it was inconvenient, even when it meant I got stuck in more rush hour, my 45-minute commute, each way, and like stop start traffic, even when it meant doing things that I was uncomfortable doing, not anything like morally uncomfortable, but you know what I'm saying, like doing new things, right? Reaching out to more leads, following up, and I began to notice, I learned all of these basics, and I began to notice also that there was more. Here's what I mean by that. The reason that I didn't leave my 9-to-5 as I was building my side business was not that I didn't have clients, was not that I didn't have customers. It was because I was terrified. It was because I couldn't see the same path and the same trajectory that I could see in my 9-to-5, where I knew if I sat there and watched Hulu all day long, I would still have a job. I knew I wasn't going to get fired. I also knew that I wasn't going to get a raise. Things felt very certain in a very depressing way. I knew how much I would get paid. I knew how much of blah, 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 right? Contributing to retirement. I knew how much came out of my paycheck for everything. I didn't have that same certainty or feeling of certainty, I should say, in my side business at all. I didn't know that the main thing holding me back at that point was fear. And I wonder if any of you all can relate to that, because I was learning the very practical strategies, which is so important. You got to have that to have a business. You got to make sales to have a business. You got to have customers, clients, get paid, have something to offer, right? Sell all the things. But I was surrounded by possibility. I was not seeing it for myself. I was more just jealous and thinking, well, this is like the most ridiculous logic ever, but it was the situation I was surrounded with. Well, they're just doing it because they're guys. What? So there were some holes in that first experience. One being that I wasn't surrounded by people who were doing it, which is who looked like me, which is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this group, this community that I built at Life with Passion, is because we need to see possibility from people like ourselves, right? And I needed to see that. And I also needed to begin to work on thinking like an entrepreneur instead of an employee. My friends had never been employees. They have always been doing their own thing. My mentor had always been doing his own thing. And so it wasn't even a thing for him to think about learning to think like an entrepreneur. He's one of the rare people it came naturally to. Most of us do not think like that. We need to learn it. And so what became of that was that I needed to grow in these other areas. So I needed to, again, look for a teacher to take me to the next level, which I did. And of course, the rest is history. It's 8 years, right? We're not talking about all of this inside of this live stream, but the key points that I want you to hear that you can apply right now to your life and your business from my story of how I finally left my 9-to-5 is that I, number one, started talking about it everywhere. Number two, when the opportunity showed up, I followed through with it. When the student was ready, the teacher appeared, and my job was to take action and follow through on that. And then the next step appeared, and the next step appeared, and the next step appeared. And then as I began to get help to work on my fear, I was able to get to the point where when I quit my job, I literally replaced my income in the first month simply by being open and letting people in my life know that now I was open for more business. Because when I was working on the side, I couldn't take any more clients. I was completely full. Even though I didn't know I was booked out at the time, I was intuitively only taking on the number of clients that I could handle outside of working really an 8 to 5 plus a 90-minute commute. So therefore, when I was officially able to put my open for business sign out there and I had the support to quit, I very quickly replaced my income because suddenly I was able to just go, hey, I'm open. And people are like, oh, really? Because I had already built that reputation in the side business. So I want you to be encouraged if you're in the side business. It can happen very quickly when you get your mindset in check and you get focused and you get, make yourself available. Jessica says, I'm terrified. It's exactly where I am, Jessica. I so get it. Lamorla says, I have a lot of visibility fear still too. Oh my gosh, I did too. When I was getting ready to put up my first post announcing what I was doing, I almost threw up. Like had so much nervous energy, It was insane. I was like shaking, literally. I told my mentor I either need to throw up or work out. And I hate throwing up. So I decided to work out and see if that would take care of it. And it did, thankfully. Melissa says, I know that feeling, comfortable / fear of failure without your job, without a hope of an increase or the possibility to move up in the company. So I made the plunge to start my own business. Thanks to Christine. Oh, it makes me so happy, Melissa. Still looking for someone who looks like me, said Jessica, hence why I reached out to you, loving this live. You're so welcome. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. It's so important to feel like you are around people who get you, right? Whether it's that they look like you or, you know what I mean? Like, feel like you. They get it, right? So I want to circle back around to this as an action step for you. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Where in your life do you have an opportunity to follow through on something that's been presented to you, that something in your gut is telling you, I need to go do that? I want to hear in the comments. If you don't have something, then consider this your invitation to join me in 5.5 hours, if you're watching this live, for my masterclass tonight. My masterclass is about the number one thing that's keeping high achievers from replacing their incomes. And not only am I going to tell you what that is, but I'm going to walk you through overcoming it live for free on the masterclass. Because I take a stand for you being able to replace your income and do what you want. I believe that the world needs more empowered women who are doing things on their own terms and who believe that we can create the lives that we want for ourselves and who are living that as examples to other women. Because a rising tide raises all ships, and the more women we can empower, the better everything gets. Because we know that the way women invest in their communities, invest in themselves, invest in their families, invest in their friends, changes the world so fast, right? That's why I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship for women at every level. You know, the give back portion of my company goes to support microloans for women in developing countries, right? So that because I know that they support their families and it goes right back into the communities and it betters themselves. So I don't care if somebody is in a developing country and wants to start their own business, or they're in the US or Canada or Australia or the UK or wherever where my clients are, and they want to start their own business. I want to support them. And so obviously I'm passionate about this. Soapbox! Listen, I want you to join me on my masterclass tonight. Can somebody put this link in the comments for me? bit.ly/1-thing-masterclass. Because if I do it, it'll be shaking and everyone will be like, ah, right? The computer, because it's on a stand. So you're not looking at my nose. Pro tip. I want you to join me tonight where I'm going to walk you through overcoming the one thing keeping high achievers from replacing their incomes. Now, I'm guessing that some of you are already registered. I'd love to hear if you're planning to come tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, because it's going to be not only super informative and helpful, it's going to be a party, because that's how we do. One of my amazing clients, I saw that she posted on my business page that she's coming tonight and that she was bringing wine. So you feel free to bring whatever your favorite drink is. You know, I love me some wine. I also love me some green tea. And of course, the elixir of life, water. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you to my beautiful Melissa for posting that as me. You rock. Thank you. I want everyone to join me. I see that Marilyn is going to be there. Hi, Melody. Mary, I see your question. I'm going to answer it in just a second. But here's the thing. Literally hundreds and hundreds of women are coming. I'm so excited. This is our biggest masterclass to date. It's the first one that I've done in a whole year because I didn't do them while I was writing and launching the book. So this is your first chance to get live training like this on this level from me for free in a whole year. Literally, I looked back, the last one I did was September 28. What year is this? 2017. So first time in a year to get access to this. I don't know when I'm doing another one. So I don't have another one scheduled. And no plans to offer another one. So if you want to come, be sure to get in while you can and join me live, because that's where you're going to get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, get it applied to your own business, and actually overcome the number one thing keeping high achievers from replacing their incomes on the training itself. So get yourself in there. It's really great information. I have a workbook that you're going to get along with it. It's really pretty that you can print out and write in, or you can save it on your computer and type it in, so that you're going to walk away seeing on paper how you've actually overcome this this number one thing that holds every single person that I've ever talked to back from replacing their income if they haven't already. Are you ready? Are you pumped? Awesome. Now, while you all are registering, I'm seeing a bunch of you saying you're coming. Yes, so good. So excited to have you there. Mary had a question, and if anybody else has questions about what I just talked about, how I replaced my income, and exactly how I left my 9-to-5 and replaced my income in the first month, Mary had a tactical question about what offers did I put out in that first post, services or coaching or consulting. I mean, I would say it's all kind of the same, Mary. It doesn't even matter what you're like. I would consider I do all three of those things. So I was just sharing basically who I was helping and how I was helping them. So my first business was not a coaching business. I started 3 other businesses before I started Life with Passion and started teaching other people how to run their own businesses, which I think is really important in a coach, that they've actually run other businesses if they're teaching you how to run a business, right? That they have the results. They have already achieved the results that you're looking to help them get, basically, that you're hiring them to help you get, that they're congruent, right? I would challenge a coach who's never run any other kind of business than a coaching business, who's teaching other people how to run a business, because there's so much more to running a business than there's replicable things to running a business, right? So like, I feel very qualified to help women in like all different industries to do it, because I've started businesses in various industries and made them successful. And my first business, my first 6-figure business, was as a digital marketer. So I had an agency supporting a very, very small niche of clients all over the country virtually, and helping them bring in like millions of dollars worth of leads, at managing their social media presence, building websites for them, being a concierge for their whatever their digital marketing needs were. That was my first business. That's what I started on the side. And then when I quit my job, I replaced my income in the first month. And it was really just a matter of letting people know that I was open for business, because at that point I was advertising to my warm market. I built my first business without doing any advertising, entirely booked out based on referrals. And totally something that I help my clients, a lot of my clients, some of them who are watching, have done the exact same thing, without a website, without anything, based on helping them get sold on themselves, developing packages and prices that they're really excited about, and getting them out there to their warm market. Let me know if that answers your question, Mary. Yay, Jessica. Yay, I hope to see you there. If you're registered, and only if you're registered, you'll get the replay. So if you can't make it, you can watch it as soon as your call is done. Yeah, Marilyn. Dana is such a great friend, and I'm super excited that that you found me through her. Yep, she's wonderful. Any other questions about how I left my 9-to-5 for good and replaced my income in the first month before we hop off? Because I got to save some voice for tonight's masterclass, right? I got to bring it, right? It's the first one in a year. Like, no pressure, but I have to deliver. It's going to be a party. Any other questions? I'm going to give you guys, give you ladies, give you another minute or so here. And again, encourage you, if you have not signed up for the masterclass, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Someone says the link is broken. Megan says the link is broken. Uh-oh. Which link? I just clicked on one thing, masterclass, the bit.ly link. That is working. Yeah, that one's working. Let's see if there's another one in here. That's the only one that I see. Looks like you got it. Looks like you got it, Megan. Awesome. Okay, it's gonna be great. Any other questions for me? It really is gonna be great. I encourage you, since you guys are here, you're gonna get the preview, right? Get into your comfiest clothes, like what you're going to wear when you're out of the 9-to-5 world for good, what you're gonna wear to work, right? What are you gonna wear to work? I can guarantee you that I'm gonna be wearing a cute top because I'm gonna be on camera, but I'm totally gonna be rocking some yoga pants like I am right now, because that's how I roll, right? Bra optional. Okay, and I'm gonna have something super fun to sip on, and I encourage you to print out the workbook or save it on your computer so that you can type in as you follow along. Just be comfortable, settle in, and pull up your comfy chair, get your glass, like we're meeting up for the most exciting cocktail hour of your life, where you're gonna be so inspired and motivated and learn so much and also make so much progress, and it's gonna be the most productive cocktail hour of your life. Yay for yoga pants, awesome. Hey Megan, when we hop off, Melissa, will you post the straight link for Megan in? Because I just clicked through and it's working for me. So Megan, if you have trouble, after she posts the full link, not the bit.ly link in, and anybody else who's watching this who might be having that, send an email to info@lifewithpassion, and we'll manually add you so that you'll get the confirmation email and all the details and everything. If it still doesn't work after the other link goes up, the full link. There it is. There it is. Thank you, Melissa. If it doesn't work, anybody else is having problems, send an email to info@lifewithpassion, and we'll get you hooked up. Okay? We'll get you manually added. The workbook comes in the confirmation email. If you've already registered, you got a confirmation email this morning with the workbook in it. If you're just registering now, you're gonna get a confirmation email initially, and then you're gonna get one when it's starting with the workbook link in it again, so you can download it there. So you'll get it tonight, right before the thing starts, okay? Yep, beautiful, I love these questions. I love that, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Really, really excited to share this information with you, to walk through it with you, and to help you move forward toward replacing your income, and frankly, then some, because these strategies I have used to help multiple six-figure earners as well. Same strategies, it's just that my passion is helping women get started and get and stay successful. Because frankly, like, one thing that I see a lot of coaches do is grow, sort of move away from who they started working with when, as their business grows. But my passion has always been, and the woman I take a stand for has always been that woman who's feeling stuck in the 9-to-5 world and can't see the path out. So I've been running this business for over 3 years, and that's always who I've worked with at every level, right? That's who I wrote the book for. That's who is in this group. And because I take a stand for you being able to make that leap, because I know what it feels like to be stuck and to not have the path. And I don't want it to take you 5 years like it took me. I want it to take you a matter of months like it takes my clients, right? And 75% of my clients who come to me in jobs quit as a result of our work together. So these strategies work, whether you're talking about getting out of a job or replacing your income, or whether you're talking about replacing your income and then some. That's what we're doing is applicable to all of that. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so you can feel my voice starting to go. I'm going to go make some tea, put some honey in it because I get real excited. And I'm going to save the rest of it up for tonight. I'll be speaking in sign language to my daughter and my husband for the rest of the day. So I have a voice for you tonight. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in just 5.5 hours. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great afternoon.